I begin my sculpture by drawing the design in my sketchbook. Then I lay a piece of tracing paper over the whole design and trace the image really clear with a Sharpie pen, and that's my pattern. Then I join the pieces of wood together with glue and clamp them together. Then I transfer the rabbit onto the wood and start cutting with the scroll saw. So I just wanted to mention here that some of the footage of me cutting the rabbit out on the scroll saw got lost somewhere. And later on, some of the footage for me finishing the back just didn't get recorded. So I apologize for the continuity, but I will put a link in the description below to another Intarsia video that shows the steps of the process a little more smooth. Some weeks are like that, right? I've been experimenting with more wood carving and making soft and rounded corners. I use a soldering iron for drawing in details of the brush. Traditionally, Intarsia woodcrafters use different types of wood to suggest colors, but I like to paint the colors of the entire piece. I thin out the paint with water, turning it into a wash, which means that the paint is diluted with at least 50% water. The wash soaks into the burnt wood easily and lets the texture of the wood grains show through. If it's not enough, you can always put on a second coat. Straight out of the bottle, the paint is too thick or opaque, which would hide the texture of the wood grain underneath. I rub the paint into the wood, which eliminates brush strokes. And if I get too much paint, I can simply use a paper towel to wipe it off. A nice thing about the wash technique is you end up using less paint. A plastic cup makes a great holding stand for glue bottles. I place the glue bottle upside down in the cup, and when I want to use the glue, it's at its exit point of the bottle, which saves me time, shaking, and excess squeezing of the bottle. I glue the pieces on top of the pattern to make sure that everything fits together where it's supposed to be. For the backing, I use 1/4-inch masonite, also called medium density fiberboard, MDF for short. The backing brings stability, and once it's painted, it's smooth, so I can easily attach the hanger and labels. There's a rough and smooth side to the MDF. I trace around the edge of the glued jackrabbit onto the rough side with a Sharpie pen. Then I cut the backing on the scroll saw. I spread glue on the rough side, and then I attach it to the jackrabbit. I wanted to give the eye a very special treatment. I started out by filling the divot of the pupil with pure black paint. To give the eye a realistic wet look, I used UV resin. The first coat covered the wood, then I painted in detail in the cornea of the pupil. I added a small dot of white paint for reflection to give it a lifelike texture. Then a second coat of the UV resin, which I take it outside in the sunlight to cure the resin. I use soda can pull tabs for the hardware on back, and strong screws hold them in place. Here's the finished piece.